Yeah, I think it's a frustrated group. I thought there was some long passages of play that we did a good job. Had opportunities to score goals. An unfortunate sort of ending to a game that I don't think none of us in the locker room believe that we should have lost. I think Cincinnati is a great test for us. It's a good team. It's well coached. It's got a lot of good individual players as well. So it was a really good test for us tonight, and disappointed with the result, but I think there'll be a lot of learning lessons that we take out of it, and it'll make us bigger and I guess better and stronger and more robust to handle games like this.
BJ, you kind of alluded to just some of the chances you created. It felt like you guys did really well in the counter press and were kind of able to maintain pressure a lot. But maybe the final ball sometimes was a little off. Do you think that was, I guess, what do you think that came down to? Was it more just missed passes, or did you feel like Cincinnati did a good job kind of shutting those down?
Yeah, I thought we did a really good job sustaining attacks. We had passages of play that we were able to pin them into their half, get everybody into the attacking half of the field. I think a little bit is they're a difficult team to defend. They obviously have three center backs, for a large majority of the time. So there's congestion in the penalty box. I thought the goalkeeper made some good saves tonight. In addition, I think there's some decision-making components as well that we need to get a little bit better on. Whether it's making a final pass or setting your teammate up who might be in a better position before shooting, or playing the ball across the face of the goal earlier. So I think there's a lot of we can be better with decision-making in the positions that we got into.
And then the penalty kick at the end. What did you see on that? And did you get a chance to kind of get an explanation on what happened?
So I have not gotten an explanation. I haven't seen anything but sort of our tactical feed. I think the call on the field is a penalty, so it's going to take a lot to have to be clear and obvious to overturn it. Again, I think it's a bit more on like the law of which is like what's a natural position for an arm or a hand when you're backpedaling and trying to jump and you're defending. Like you can't have your arms at your side and in an extremely unathletic thing. So I haven't seen a good picture of it, but the call on the field stands, and it probably takes a lot to overturn it.
BJ, with the late penalty, with a game that seemed pretty even coming down to and being decided on a penalty goal and stoppage time, is there any temptation to kind of look at that as a crucial moment? Is it a challenge to have to be able to focus on what came before and maybe what you could have done to get the result before the penalty kick?
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, as a group, we talked about the game. When two good teams go against each other, it's going to come down to moments. And it was who's going to capitalize on the moments. I think they had some, we had some. And, at the end, they get a penalty and they capitalize on it. And that's an area that I think we can improve on is when we have moments in the game, they're going to be limited when two good teams play. You have to make the most of your chances.
And with Josh Bauer, his second goal tonight, I guess with his offensive development, what have you seen from this season? I guess how much of what you've seen is maybe improvements that he's made in his game, and how much of it is maybe things that he's always been able to do, but maybe has more confidence or freedom to be able to do now?
Yeah, I think Josh has worked tremendously hard coming into preseason and working both as a center back and a fullback. He's got an opportunity to play, and has made the most of it. It's another guy who I think takes information in really well and applies it. And it's a pure the goal comes off of just a pure mentality and and effort. To make a second wave in the attack and be a fullback that gets forward. And unfortunately, there's the ball, and he seizes that moment. So for me, it's a lot of credit to the I would say the development of Josh. And he's been driving his own development.
BJ, you've had 4 penalties this season, and you've only converted 1. What's the problem there?
I mean, it's just we have to be better at it. I don't have there's not an exact science to it. It's something that we're going to have to obviously look at, evaluate internally, and try to, you know, from top to bottom, from how we approach the penalties and sort of, everything. But yeah, we have to be better. You can't be 1 for 4.
And you always talk about the way the team responds to certain moments. How did you feel like the group responded after the penalty and that clear chance that was kind of missed, or the keeper really made actually a really good save? Now that I think about it. But how do you feel like the group responded to that? Because things kind of slowed down from both ends. So what was your how did you feel about that reaction from the group?
Yeah, I was proud of the response of the of the group, and even I would rewind further. Kind of giving up a set piece goal. I was unhappy with how we conceded that set piece goal right. I mean, a couple minutes before halftime, and then the way we came out in the second half. That was the first great response by the team. Then we obviously hit a little bit of adversity with a missed penalty. We have a set piece right away. We respond almost to like a next play mentality. And I think after that point, the game kind of settles down, right? That's the first, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes of the game, the second half, and then it kind of, I think, settles in. But I thought there was still another goal out there for us to get.
BJ, I thought the game was spectacular. One of the best games I've seen this season in the MLS, which is nice. Now, when you look at both games, the previous game and this one, when Jasper was going to come in last game and he had the stomach problem, and then now you decide to actually bring him in like you were going to do in the last game, it's easy to second guess the coach and whatever he thought about it, but anything in there in between why he started instead of perhaps Brookman in this game?
Oh, Yazbek?
Yeah.
No, I just think I think there's a competition in the group, and I think there's a lot of, tactical sort of implications that go into these things. And I think we have, I talked to Gaston, talked to Patrick, talked to Eddie. We have confidence in all of these guys, and they each have a different little profile that I think we can unlock. And I thought Gaston came into the game and made an immediate impact for us. And again, I think there's a lot of good I don't want the result, which we're disappointed in, to overshadow a lot of good performances. And I think there's going to be a lot of good that we take from the game, and there's also going to be some real concrete learning lessons that we are going to be able to grow from when we, after we kind of digest it and move on for next week.
Now, second one, how difficult has it become for you now when you see Bauer playing such two great games, scoring goals on both games, and then Andy was doing such a good job, still doing it. What goes to your mind when you see those two guys kind of fighting for the same position?
First and foremost, what goes through my mind is this is great. This is what we want. This is the roster that we're building. This is the depth that we're looking for. This is a strong guys can step in and guys can perform. So that's great. Next is going to be hard decisions, and that's why but we don't shy away from those things, and that's why we have a competitive environment. You earn the team. You earn your position on the field, and for us, I think it's great that we're in week 6 and we have a lot of guys making good contributions. It's going to pay dividends for the whole group as we move through this season.
BJ, in the first half, there were a lot of, I guess, dummy passes where players would let the ball roll between their feet and then make some feint moves here and there. You think, I guess, the first couple of games where your side's winning games, it's kind of built too much of a confidence where this game kind of humbled them in a roundabout way, where they kind of gotten away from the basics?
No, I mean, I love to see the personality of the players out there. Also, I think, we were playing basically 4v4 at the top of, in the top. So from a tactical standpoint, I thought there was moments early in the first half that we were playing in behind. I thought Hani had a couple moments that we were able to, dangerous, and even if we don't come off on them, then we're able to move our lines up. And then when you're sort of, I would say, coming down into the ball and guys are with pressure on their back, I think it's you can see the connection, and I like it because you see guys that are thinking a step ahead, thinking a pass ahead, and you have support right underneath of them. And sometimes you kind of have to use a little bit of like a dynamic movement between two players to break down what I would call a really good defense by Cincinnati.
Following up with that, Ahmed Qasim just seems very comfortable on the ball when you talk about just stylistically? What is it about just him and this system for him to kind of express that?
Yeah, I think we want all of our players to be comfortable on the ball, and that's part of the profile of guys that we're looking for. So, yeah, I think he's comfortable under pressure. And he attracts players to him. It opens up space for other guys, but at the same time, you see Alex Mule coming in the pocket, being able to turn. You have Eddie Tagsith, guys that are all comfortable with pressure on them, and that for us is a way to attract the opponent and disorganize them, and try to exploit spaces that we're able to open up. Great. Thanks, guys.